if you say the APC is doing a very good job, what do you make of the name, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi? Because that name seems not to have left the lips of every single APC member. Is he a threat to the APC?
Of course, you see, they say a snake is a snake, whether it's a baby snake or a mature snake. The good thing is that once it grows, it will still bite. So Peter Obi is a significant force. He's a threat. He has a massive following, almost like a cult online following, the Obidient movement that is acknowledged globally, and that they are determined, right, and they are very organic. So why can't the Obidient movement work for the APC? Why don't we have this kind of energy? So I think it's a threat, naturally, based on the way he's moving. And if you look at his inroad, he's even penetrating some part of northern Nigeria, some part of, especially in the north central. So he's actually a threat. And I don't believe in APC we can underestimate any opposition, right? So he might win if you underestimate him. So the best solution is to see how we can contain him as much as possible. And I think we are doing a very good job in containing the Obidient movement, because they lack organization, they lack structure, and their core principle is anger, against the status quo. And that once you invest emotion, in a movement, you always lose. You always lose the way. So you must have to be tactical, you must have to be very strategic, and I think these are some of the weaknesses of the Obidient movement. And on these weaknesses, we are containing them as much as we can.
So when you say you are containing, the Obidient movement, what do you mean? When you say you're containing the Obidient movement?
When you say containment, right, it means that the same way they are exerting their own strategic imprints, towards defeating our party, we are also countering this strategy, as much as possible by making sure that we encroach into their domain and win. After all, we have, when you look at Peter Obi's traditional domains, where he had a very strong following, he got 4 million votes in the south. He was actually the winner in the southern Nigeria, and then he got 2 million votes in the north. So most of the areas where he had strong impact were now consolidated under the APC. In Delta State, for instance, you can see that. In Akwa Ibom, you can see that. In Lagos, it's all consolidated. The entire Southwest are now completely, comprehensively consolidated. In the Southeast, there is a lot of divisions and structures, and then we have APC governors in the South. It's 2 APC governors, and more are coming. So when you look at all those things, you will see a very clear strategic containment policy whereby we will make sure that the force we receive from the Obidient movement is not repeated in 2027.
Whenever you hear the lines that goes this way, the Obidient movement are emotional. They don't think. They don't use their brains. Those attacks are coming because they know the most formidable force against the status quo in Nigerian political system today is the Obidient movement. They're aware of it. So when you hear the likes of Adamu Garba, this man you can see, say, oh, Obi is a significant force. You cannot ignore it. If you ignore it, it might defeat the APC in 2027. Remember, they're not even talking about the political party. They're talking about the person. They're talking about the person. You're talking about a person who you say does not have structure. But you're saying this person without this structure is significant enough to defeat you in 2027. It lets you know the power of Peter Obi's political appearance. And I will let you know, I will give you several reasons why I think Peter Obi can defeat APC in 2027. But again, like I said, remember, they're not talking about the ADC or the Labour Party. They're talking about the person. Now imagine imagine Peter Obi in a political party with structure, or they have enough time to put the structure in place. The campaign starts early, and they start to make their outreach early enough. Guess what will happen? APC will be afraid and be shaken to their very, very core. So the man said it. He said that Peter Obi is a significant force they cannot ignore. And that's true. And he says if they underestimate him, they will lose in 2027. And that's going to happen. Okay? So, but for me, I will explain to you why I think that Peter Obi can defeat Bola Tinubu and why Peter Obi stands out against Bola Tinubu and the APC. First of all, let's look at it. Peter Obi has this organic grassroots popularity and support. Whether you're 7-year-old or 17-year-old, whether you're 10 or 20 or nearly 100 years, Peter Obi has the support. He has the likability. People love him. People gravitate towards him. People love his message and they accept his message. And alone is what the APC does not have. That alone is what Bola Tinubu does not. That's why Peter Obi faces the biggest threat. Recently, the governor of Edo State threatened him not to come into the state. Before that, the governor of Benue State did not want him to come. Every time he talks, they want to attack him. The other time was Felix Moka, the APC spokesperson. Every time. Let's look at the second part. Peter Obi has this clean image against this APC. I'm talking about APC as a political party, against APC's corrupt allegations that is surrounding them, whether it's the presidency, the National Assembly. If you look at APC, it's about, a structure of corruption, an image of corruption and criminality surrounding them. Are you talking about Yaya Bello? That's one. Are you talking about Gospel like Pabio? That's another one. Everywhere, if you look at the APC, the image of the APC, is more or less tantamount to corruption. The third part, if you look at the 2023 election, this man said that Peter Obi won the southern part, he didn't win the north. But we know across the length and breadth of Nigeria, Peter Obi won. So he literally won the north, the south, across everywhere. But that shock is what they don't want anymore. That's why they're coercing governors to join them. They're doing that in the South so that it will become easier if they need to rig election in 2027. They can rig it easily because now they have the governors being part of the system. But there's a shocker for the APC because most of these governors who are, falling in line with APC, they know that in 2027 they will betray them. The fourth one I want to think of right now is that Peter Obi's ideological messaging. Those messages is actually given out, accepted. Not only accepted, they challenge the status quo of corruption. For example, Peter Obi said does not give any penny to anybody. APC wants to get people to come out to campaign for them. They have to pay them, they have to bribe them. But Peter Obi's one is organic. It doesn't need to pay anybody. They come out of their own free will and they use their own money. This is something the APC does not have. People go and make clothes and t-shirts on Peter Obi's behalf. While the APC will go and pay people to give them shirts and pay them money to come out and campaign for them and galvanize them, even threaten market women to tell them they don't come out, they'll close their shops. Can you imagine that? Look at another reason as well again. Tinubu's government struggles a lot with credibility. Even since 2023, he's still looking for credibility to say he's the legitimate winner. And he hasn't gotten it. It doesn't have the appeal. When he go outside to go and look for investment, other leaders are running away from him. So, but with Peter Obi's presence globally is accepted. Now, again, I'm not saying that is a sin, but we're saying of the bunch of them is the best. Look at the election integrity of 2023. It stands out still. So then they know they don't want that. That's why the man is saying we don't want the repeat of what happened in 2023. We don't want it in 2027. That's the 6th point I'm giving. I can go on. I'll give you one more. If Peter Obi become part of the coalition, APC and Bola Tinubu are afraid. They can't stand it. Now you have a bigger force behind him. And I'm hoping that the ADC, they do the right thing by saying this man has the most grassroots support, appeal and acceptance. He has them as organic as you can have it. And he can deliver for us the votes that we need. So every other person step aside. Forget about all these who wins the primary where Michi was talking about. It has to be a consensus. Listen, Peter Obi gets it. And then we go ahead and win the election in 2027. That's about it. There's nothing else to explain. So in a nutshell, Peter Obi has the credibility that the APC does not have. Peter Obi has the people power that the APC does not have. He has the messaging that the APC does not have. And he's more competent than the president we currently have. So when you put all of these forces together, it's something that the APC cannot ignore. That's why they're doing everything possible to threaten him not to come out to different states, like they did in Edo State. Before that was Benue State, and before that, or maybe after the Benue State, was Felix Moka, the APC spokesperson. Subtle threats. They don't want anybody to speak up. because they just want to suppress all the other voices. They don't want that. They don't want that change that Nigerians want. So whenever they attack the Obidient movement, it's because they know the Obidient movement is intelligent. They want change. They want Nigeria to be better. But they still keep saying the Obidient movement don't have any structure. They don't have any, they're too emotional. They don't have any, they're just organic. They don't have any brain. They don't think. Whatever the Peter Obi tells them to do, that's what they're doing. But that's not true. So these are the things they're raising, but just so that you understand, 2027 is not a given for Bola Tinubu, regardless of the amount of lawmakers and governors who are defecting. It's not a given. As far as we know, it's only one person per vote. Yes, INEC will want to rig the election, but Nigerians will be this time will be very alert. I hope I've given you enough information or enough reasons to actually look at 2027 from a different light. But again, put in the comment section what you think about what the man said and what I have said as well. If they make sense to you and what you think the Obedient movement can do and Peter Obi can do way better, to defeat Bola Tinubu in 2027. Don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe. Also recommend this channel to others. I will catch you up in the next video. As always, God bless you. Bye-bye for now.